Good morning, everyone. How are we? It's a pleasure to be here today and talk to you all about all things wellbeing. There we go. So I just want you to take this next 10-15 minutes just to reflect and refocus on you, your wellbeing, and take this time to take on the tips and implement this into your own lives. A bit short, so I'll just bring that down a little bit. Now, before we actually kick off, I want everyone to stand up. You're all sitting there all slumped down, so I just want everyone to take a couple of big, deep breaths. Say hello to the person next to you. Have a big stretch and take a seat. Hopefully everyone's a little bit more re-energised. All right. So we now know that we're living longer than our grandparents did. So our average life expectancy is our benchmark figure for our population's health. So we know in the 1960s, we lived to an average age of just 50 years old. Fast forward 60 years later, 2023, and we're living now to 72 years old. So there's lots of things that have been put in place to help us live longer lives. Things like medical advancements, treatment plans, vaccinations, technology, but also our diet and lifestyle factors have allowed us to live longer lives. Now there's a recognised gap between our health span and our lifespan. So there's a widening gap here, and what we're seeing is our lifespan, which is our life expectancy, and our health span, which is the number of years in good health, is getting wider and wider. There's a 15% increase since 1990 in the number of years that people will spend in ill health. Now what's alarming is this was 8.5 years, it is now 9.8 years. So this is looking at about 18% of our average lifespan, which is pretty scary. Now this just shows that we're not only living longer, but we're living longer in an unhealthy state. Now the Vitality Group did a study and they looked at the gap between lifespan and health span. This just shows that our health strategy that's in place is focusing more on that treatment versus that prevention. Now, I want you to have a think about yourself, your friends, your family. What prevention plans are you putting in place to make sure that we're supporting our own health? We want to make sure that we've got that prevention plan in place rather than waiting for the ambulance at the bottom of the cliff. So you might ask, what's changed over the last 60 years to widen this gap between health span and lifespan? So a really big one is that we're less active as a population. Have a think about our typical day. We wake up, we sit down for breakfast, we sit down to drive to work, we get to work, we're pretty sedentary. We sit down for lunch, we sit down to drive home, sit down for dinner, and hey, after a really long day of sitting down, what do? Sit down and watch television. Now, the World Health Organization recommends that we do at least 150 minutes per week of moderate to vigorous activity. So this is just 20 minutes a day. This will be a brisk walk or a slow run. So it's nothing strenuous. And what's scary is that 48% of New Zealanders are not meeting this criteria. So nearly half of our population are not fitting in 20 minutes a day of physical activity. So just have a think for yourself, what are you doing to make sure that you can get this in for every single day? For some people, it's blocking out a little segment at the start of the day so that nothing else gets in the way. And for other people, 2 little 10-minute blocks through the day is a really simple way to make sure that you tick the box. Another big factor is our food and drink is so heavily processed. It's really reward-based versus an actual source of fuel for our body. Have a think about our supermarkets. The outside aisles, you've got all your fruit, your veg, your milk, your meat. Now, this is where we want to spend most of our time shopping. But unfortunately, we spend all our time in those aisles down the middle, the packet food, the convenience food. So next time you're in there buying that packet sauce, have a think, can I actually make that from the outside aisles a more nutritious option for yourself? Lunches. Now, this is a really hot topic for a lot of people. We're busy people, we're out on the road a lot. Are you that person that's eating out for your lunch every single day just because it's easy, it's convenient? Are you that person that skips lunch because there's too many options? Or maybe you don't want to spend money on buying your lunch out every single day? Or are you that person that just takes some time over the weekend to prep a couple of meals to allow yourself to have a nice, nutritious lunch through the week? Have a think, how are you supporting your body? And the last big factor that we've seen change over time is stress. We face this on a daily. Changes in relationships, economic status, changes in technology, Mother Nature, she's been throwing a fair bit at us recently, and work. Now, there's two parts to this. The first one is actually recognising the stress and saying, hey, look, I'm actually feeling a little bit stressed and anxious today, I need some support. But the second part of that is actually having that coping mechanism. How can you work through this? What tools do you have in your toolbox to be able to reach for when you need them? It might be meditation, it might be reading, listening to music, or just going for a walk outside. Whatever it is, make sure you know what works for you and have that ready when you need it. Going back to the point on technology, have a think about this. Probably every single person has their phone in front of them or right next to them in their bag. We don't go far without the phones. Now, we're switched on, we're always available. Phone, email, text, social media, you name it, we don't switch off. And this is a real factor for underlying stress because we don't have that downtime. So just have a think about, are you creating some boundaries for yourself? Are you switching that phone off and allowing yourself that time just to wind down, especially in the evenings? Now you're looking at our 5590 report. So at the top, you can see the 5 modifiable behavioural factors, also known as lifestyle factors. So we have smoking, unhealthy diet, physical inactivity, excess alcohol consumption, and interaction with the environment. Now, with interaction in the environment, we talk about this as the ozone layer in New Zealand. These are leading to 5 non-communicable diseases, so diseases of the lifestyle. Respiratory disease, heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and poor mental health. And this is leading to over 90% of deaths in New Zealand. Now, if we look at a fact, we found that in one South Auckland clinic, there was over 200 cases of type 2 diabetes diagnosed in one single day. Now, to me, that's scary, that's eye-opening. And this is something that is so preventable. We can make these changes to that top line with these behavioural factors. Now, my grandparents have lived well into their 90s. My parents are fit and healthy in their 60s, so I'd like to think that I'm going to live a long life. But I want to make sure that that long life is actually spent being healthy, so I can make the most of it. I want to put this question to you. If you live to 90 years old, what does this look like to you? What are you putting in place to make sure that you can live your life to its fullest? Now, I've got 3 wellbeing tips for you to take away today. I want you to implement these, I want you to put them in the diary and make it happen. So the first one here is supporting your stress levels, allowing your body to rest and recover. Creating a list of 3 to 5 tasks every single day that you want to achieve the next day allows you to switch off in the evening, be present with your family, move all that noise out of your head, everything's written down. And the bonus is you walk into tomorrow feeling prepared, you know exactly what you're going to tackle. We know that discipline leaders always carve out time in their day to plan for tomorrow. The second wellbeing tip is blocking time out in your diary for you. This is the most important meeting of the day. Think of it as a meeting with your CEO. What is your why? What do you need to do to recharge your batteries every single day? Is it lying on the couch doing nothing for half an hour? That's totally fine. Is it going for a run? Is it meeting a friend for a coffee? Whatever it is, put it in the diary, make it happen. Just remember, it's not selfish to have your bucket full. You must have your oxygen mask on before you can support others. And the last one for today is breathing. Hopefully we're all breathing right now, but it's how we are breathing. So I'd like everyone just to put one hand on their chest and one hand on your stomach, and just take a couple of deep breaths for me, in and out. Just notice, is your chest rising or your belly rising? Now, for those feeling your chest rising, this can indicate a little bit of a stress response. It's okay in certain situations, but not all the time. Hopefully no one's got their chest rising down there. Mine might be a little bit up here. But we want to really focus on that belly breathing, that deep belly breathing that allows our body to be in a parasympathetic state, more of a relaxed state. And this is our optimal state to be in. This is a really good option to be able to do. If you're just feeling yourself getting a little bit overwhelmed, just take a minute, pop your hand on your tummy and a couple of breaths just to refocus and make sure you're breathing nice and relaxed. Now, to finish today, we're going to do a breathing exercise all together. It's called box breathing. You may have done this before. And so how it works is you breathe in for 4 counts, we hold for 4 counts, we breathe out for 4 counts, and then we hold again for 4 counts. Now, this is really good to be doing when you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling anxious, just to reconnect and refocus. So if you'd like to close your eyes during this, that's totally fine, and I'll just get you to all do the breathing on my count. So breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go again. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Hopefully everyone's nice and zen now. So that one is a really good option, like I said, just when you're feeling like you need to reconnect. You might be in the car on the way to a meeting, or even just get to work in the morning, you look at your inbox and you think, ooh. So it's a really good way just to refocus. So don't wait for tomorrow. Take these tips, implement them into your day, take action, create that habit. If you wait for tomorrow, tomorrow will never happen. Thank you.